G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. On today's episode I'm going to show you how to install the carbon off-road 12k winch. So first thing I'll do is I open it up and I'll give you a look at what's inside. Stubby cooler, straight up. That'll go straight to the collection. Now we've got some wiring. Oh, here we go, we've got the fair lead. This is the new carbon off-road winch hook. Have a look at that. Now, I know most other winches just come with a fairly basic hook. That's a pretty solid beast of a hook, and it's actually going to fold in flat on the fair lead. That's a bit of an impressive bit of gear. Just a bit of conduit and an earth cable. Next up, control box. Very waterproof plug. Nice, I like that. It's got a good seal on that rubber plug. Make sure you don't get dirt and water and what have you in there. And the controller. Nice. I'll get that out in a minute. Let's have a look at the winch. Okay, so these winches are actually, the reason I've gone for this winch is it is one of the lightest winches on the market. Pull it out with one hand. Nice. That there. I've had a fair few winches in my time, and this is a very light winch. I think they're the lightest on the market. They don't actually preach that they're the lightest on the market. They say that they're one of the lightest on the market, but I haven't seen anything else lighter than this. So for the work that this winch can do and the quality of it. Now the box now, everything's laid out for the installation. I'm blown away by how light this winch is, so I've just gone and put it on the scales. This winch alone is 23 kilos. So that is, I wouldn't say half the weight of the last winch I had in the car, but it is very light. And so this is the bull bar that I'll be fitting the winch into. This is a factory Nissan Patrol bull bar. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to place the winch in and see what rotation the gearbox needs to sit and what rotation the drum needs to sit. So we'll go ahead and get it in. Is that the orientation of the engagement handle, probably want it sitting on top or forward. So we want to rotate that 180 degrees, and then the gearbox itself, we probably want to rotate it around so that we've got our connections for our wires on top. So we'll crack in and I'll show you how we pull the gearbox apart and rotate it, and then pull the drum and rotate it. Okay, so I've got to change the orientation of the gearbox. So what I'm going to do is I've just gone through the instruction manual. One of the big things I want to point out with this is very in-depth, this user manual. It's got everything down to a T pretty much, whereas normally when you get an instruction manual for a winch, it's very vague, so it's good to know. Now I'm going to remove the gearbox. Now the process for this is to stand the winch on edge. Now it comes with a supplied 6mm bolt, so undo the 2 bolts out of the tie bar. So I'll remove them, and then we will peel the gearbox up, and on the back side of this gearbox plate there'll be 10 more bolts, and we'll take them out, and then we'll rotate it. We won't split it, I'll show you. You don't want to split the gearbox from that plate. If you do, I guess you just have a look at the seal, make sure that you don't bugger the seal up, make sure it goes back in and seals correctly. No. 2 6mm bolts are out. Shaft wants to come with. Nope, it stayed. Okay. So shaft did feel like it There we go. Put that shaft back in. Now, as you can see here, there's these 10 bolts. So now what we'll do is we'll remove them 10 bolts and then we'll spin it 180 degrees. So now that I've removed the 10 bolts out of the inside of the gearbox, we want to rotate it. We don't want to take it off. We just want to spin it on the housing. We should be able to do. Let's just spin this around. Like so. Now, there's your handle, there's your bolting face, so that will then put all that back in line. Okay, something to note when you're doing your gearbox plate back up, now make sure you do these bolts up in a crosshatch pattern, that way you don't tighten down one side of this plate and not the other side, and if you were to tighten down one side and not the other side or work your way around, there's a potential to crush them gears in, or to set them gears back on a bit of an angle, and then you don't have full contact on your gears and you'll get uneven wear or something of that kind. Now that's all tightened back up to torque specifications. This, and slide it back over. You may need to give it a little bit of a jiggle. There you go, just like that. Now that has our... Okay, so that's all turned around. Now we'll stick it in and we'll see how we went. Pop that back on there. So, come around this side. No good. So, what we were aiming for was to have that on the front, but unfortunately, oh, still might work. It's not really as easily accessible as I thought it would be. Might just grab that rope out and have a look. Okay, so after a little bit of jiggling around, I've moved that gearbox about 3 or 4 times trying to find a good position. I thought I'd be able to put it facing straight out, but it's going to hit on this little piece here, so I've moved it again and I've got it up here, so I should be able to reach straight through from there on the front side and easily enough pop it up, and it doesn't hinder on anything. Okay, so now that I've got the 2 lower bolts into the winch, I've rolled the bull bar over. Now we just feed the winch rope through the fair leg, and then 2 longer bolts. That up in there. It's as easy as that. And thread them in. Now that we've got the bull bar back on the car, we can see that the winch is in and it's clear of everything. There's nothing that's going to get in the way. Now we can check our wires are all going to fit. So we want to mount our winch box either up here or down on the actual housing. Either way, we've got plenty of room for our wires to meet up to our motor. Having a look at all the wiring in the control box, I'm going to actually mount the control box on the centre of the bull bar. I've just removed this piece here. So on the factory bull bar, that actually just peels out. It's a couple of little tags on it. Now, that'll allow, I've just started removing this plate. So there's a couple of bolts here, a couple of Allen key bolts that are in that plate there. That'll allow the cables to sit down through there. So I can mount the box here, and there's no cabling actually getting caught on any steel. So I'm just wiring it up now. It's pretty self-explanatory. The 3 main wires are colour-coded. So there's a blue, a yellow and a red. And then around this side we've got the earth, which will be your black that runs from your battery. I'll just get it around here. So that's there, and it actually says on here, just so you know, that Must connect to battery, negative terminal, not chassis. So do not connect this to your chassis as an earth. Connect this back to your battery so you know that you've got a good connection with your earth. And then there's a little black wire as well, if I can find him. This little guy here runs from the control box as well. Now, it even says it on there as well. Must connect to motor earth terminal. So, that, we'll go with that. We'll come around here on the motor side and bolt up. Now all the wires have got these little rubber boots, I guess you call them. Make sure you put them on so you don't get any arcing across any of these three wires. Now, negatives on, positives on. I'll turn isolator switch on. I'll come around here. Now fingers crossed we've done everything right. I reckon I have. It's a cool little plug. Righto, it's in. Moment of truth. Winch in. We're on. Sweet, so we're good. Now, it's not a good idea to run your winch without the car running. They do chew a lot of battery. And always remember, when you run your winch, only run it for 30-second intervals. Winch in for 30 seconds, cool it for a minimum of 30 seconds. They're not made to run consistently. You'll just burn them out. You put them through too much pressure. So now what we've got to do, the last final touch, we've got to put our winch hook on. Now all it is, circlip, take the pin out, put her in. I'll give you the look. Righto, circlip pliers, take that out. Pin comes out. Hook goes in. Circlip goes back on. Just make sure that's seated right. Perfect. Now, winch her in. There we go. That looks pretty neat. I like the way they've designed the hook. It does have a wireless remote option as well. So it's just hold both these buttons in for 2 seconds. You'll see a little light flashing up, and then just like that. So you don't need to plug anything in, so this stays sealed up the whole time. Laughing. Righto guys, so that's the install of the Carbon 12K, all done and dusted. That's about all I got for you. A few key things that I want to point out when I installed this winch that I noticed. One, obviously it is light as anything. That is the lightest winch I've ever installed. Two, all the hardware on the actual winch body itself is all stainless steel, which is a real benefit. This thing sits real low. It's always going to see salt water and road debris, and they always tend to rust straight away. The bolts that mount the actual winch into the cradle, they're a galvanised bolt. Normally they're a zinc coated or something like that. So that's going to be a real benefit as well. So when you want to do your regular maintenance on your winch, it's going to be easy to pull it out, check over it, re-grease a few things up and put it back in. You're not going to have to battle bolts, which is a real bonus. And the other thing is, I installed the winch with the bull bar off the car. Bull bar's just been painted. You can install the winch without removing the bull bar. It's just a matter of popping it up and in. It's all pretty straightforward. A couple of tools, easy as to do. So thanks for watching. I appreciate any feedback you guys got for me, and if you liked, hit the like button, subscribe, check out some of our other videos. Cheers.